First of all, I will start by telling you congratulations. Congratulations. This is huge, and I'm so happy for you. How are you feeling about this?
I think, thank you so much. I think I'm feeling a bit more better right now. It's been a crazy last couple of weeks and actually last couple of months, sort of getting everything sorted and ready to go live. And I'm just so grateful, to be honest with you. I'm so happy. This is really a big deal, especially as a broadcaster. And yeah, it's been magical. I'm just trying to keep as composed as I can when I can.
So obviously it was copied before you. So it's from Nigeria to South Africa. How is the transition for you?
I think the transition is really cool because as a South African who's worked in the entertainment industry, who is well acquainted and well versed in what's happening in the space, it's exciting for me to open up my mind and open up my learnings, I guess, to the rest of the continent. So, you know, this is a great opportunity for me to get to know and get well acquainted with what's happening everywhere else. And it's a cool transition, you know, because I think that, you know, I'm obviously proudly South African and there's so much talent in the country. And obviously everybody now is vibing with Amapiano. And that's, you know, representation of who we are in our essence. So, you know, this is a big moment. And if anything, I've learned from my fellow South African artists, you know, in the power of collaboration and working with people from different countries, especially here on our continent. You know, before I think the bar was always, you know, get into America and make it there and collaborate with those artists. But I love the movement right now that's proudly African and really celebrating us and how we do things. And it's an exciting time to be in the cusp of that, where everything is becoming, you know, integrated in a way.
All right, fantastic. Speaking about Africa, because you mentioned Africa a lot, Africa now opens a new window into the music dynamics in Africa. What would you say are the biggest challenges to reach our full potential and compete globally? Because, you know, like you've just said that, you know, before everybody used to look forward to working with America or, you know, just outside Africa, but now Africa is, you know, everyone's looking at Africa. We're out there right now. So what would you say are the challenges and what can we do to really reach our full potential and compete globally?
I think that, you know, the challenge has always been trying to recreate a sound that is not ours, right? So, I mean, if you look at, say, hip hop, for example, especially here in our country, they used to emulate a lot of American artists, even in how they sound when they speak on the tracks. There's so much power in just something as small as using your own home language. You know, people who rap in Setswana or rap in Sotho or Xhosa, you know, people attach themselves to that because actually hip hop is not ours, for example, but, you know, you ride the wave. But if you do it in a way that makes sense to you, you know, your fellow South Africans or Africans, you know, gravitate towards that because it's something they know, right? So I think the biggest thing has just been us waking up to who we are and understanding that we don't have to be someone else to be amazing, to be global. So if you look at obviously the Wiz Kids and the Burna Boys and the David O's, they stuck to who they are in their essence and they blew up globally because that's something that's not there that Americans, I think, wish they had, you know, that extra flavor, that extra sauce. And I think, you know, we're in a place right now where we're finally okay with accepting how we're designed, accepting ourselves culturally, accepting ourselves traditionally, and we're waking up to the kings and queens that we are. We're waking up on a consciousness level, and I think that's what it's going to take. You know, the more we do things together, the more we really move in the spirit of Ubuntu, the more we respect each other, because we all have a similar story. You know, we were invaded, we were colonized, and we all share the same pain. So if we can sit together and work through it, is where we'll reach our full potential. And so that starts with small things like attaching yourself to the sound that you grew up loving and enjoying. And it's okay to enjoy the westernized way of things, you know, but even in this interview, technically we shouldn't even speak English, do you know what I mean? But this is the world that we live in. You know, this is just the world that we live in. But I love that we're waking up and we're just like, hold on, man. There's so many things that don't make sense here. And we're starting to remember who we are. We're starting to enjoy who we are. We're starting to be proud of who we are. And we're also starting to see how influential we are, how much actually the other worlds look at us for inspiration. We created, and because they have the platform, they look like they're the first to do it. And so I think that's one thing that's going to help us when we start seeing each other, but like seeing each other as your human beings and the wonderful creators that we are and the spiritual and divine beings that we are. but we're on the right track. We're on the
Yeah,
right track.
we definitely are. So I have to ask, right? Looking back to when you started your career to up until now, would you say that you ever saw this coming? You know, first of all, you've hosted shows, you know, that basically for African, you know, talk about the African culture, put us in the good light. Would you ever say that you saw this coming? And how did you even prepare yourself? Like you got this and you're like, wow. How did you prepare yourself to announce that? Look, guys, your girl who has always put Africa on the map is going to be doing this. Did you see this coming?
You know what, I definitely didn't see this coming, but I knew there definitely was a bigger plan for me, because, you know, I had been on radio here at home, but at the job that I had, I just felt like I'd been in a space where I kind of wasn't growing in the way that I did. So I took a big risk and I resigned, right? With no plan B in terms of broadcasting. But I definitely never thought it would be on Apple Music, but I knew that God definitely had a plan. I don't think my story will end in SA. I don't think my story will end just on the continent of Africa. I think it's going to go beyond that. But I just never knew how it was going to come together. But I was always doing something to move broadcasting forward and to celebrate other music and give anybody a platform that I absolutely can. But sure, God came through. God was just like, "Boy, don't worry about it. You good."
You know,
you know,
yeah.
and here you go. You've been putting in the work. You know, I mean, I started on a Christian radio station when I started radio, and it really wasn't part of my plan. And all these years later, I'm here moving into an international space, but still being allowed to be who I am in my essence, celebrate the fact that I'm Xhosa, celebrate the fact that I'm South African, celebrate the fact that I'm African, and I love that. I love that. So I guess it's a divine intervention plus some work done on my part, and now we're here.
Quick one. Afrobeats is huge. Afrobeats is evident. You know, it's the future. At least it's the fastest in a long time. It's really the most interesting genre of music we've had, you know, in a while, and the whole world is on it right now. And which is amazing. But what is the inclusion plan for, you know, countries that have not necessarily hit the ground running or are not even a dominant force yet when it comes to their music? When it comes to, I mean, a lot of African countries are doing amazing, but not all of them. So what is the inclusion plan for countries like this?
So I think that's the point, right? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find incredible artists on all spaces that we can support, different genres that we can open you guys up to, different artists that you can pick up as a big artist or somebody who's already got a commercial sound that's big, that's international. That's our plan here, to discover, to find, to do the research, and give them a spotlight as much as we are giving the big guys who already established a spotlight. You know, we're speaking to a young lady from Tanzania, and her name is Nandi. She's out of Star of the Week, and she's such a vibe. She's also dabbled in a bit into Amapiano because that's trending vibe, but she's got such an interesting mix of eclectic sounds, right? And that's the point of the show, is to introduce you to who's got next, what their sound is, what they're playing with, what they're trying out. And that's our plan. That's what we can do, support them on this platform for now. But obviously it goes deeper, you know, they end up on playlists. We're constantly always tuning in and updating that as well. You know, I carry it through on my platforms as well, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, and almost recently now TikTok as well. So it'll go beyond just the show. The messaging gets through. And also we really want to get everybody acquainted with Apple Radio. You know, a lot of people in SA aren't quite familiar with the concept, and once that moves, then it's going to go crazy. And even in the other countries that are still developing as well and are not as established as we would say, SA and potentially Nigeria. So yeah, our point is to do the groundwork, to do the research, give everybody a platform, and then let it soar and fly from there.
Yeah, because that is actually very important, because Africa now is so huge, and you know, artists want to be portrayed or viewed in a certain light. You know, artists take pride in being featured on Africa now, right? So I believe that
100%,
right? There's a future for, I mean, the not so popular artists, you know, people that are not as big as, you know, people that we don't even know, but make great music. Maybe don't have like the platform. So this is a platform where we can discover new talents, not just the big guys, not the guys that do great stuff, right?
Yeah, there's literally a feature called Africa Rising, where we introduce to the next generation of African superstars. You know, and that's why even our cover star isn't always the biggest star, but somebody who's got edge, that X factor, something we haven't heard before. And that's why I love the show and wanted to be a part of it, because that's the person that I am in my DNA as well. You know, you
Yeah.
support the big stars, but there's always a kid or somebody that you recently just heard of that deserves a platform because they're so incredible and so talented. And that's what I love about the team as well, the research that they do, the way we all come together. I mean, you can't always keep up with everyone all the time, but everyone's always got their ear on the ground and they know who's got next. And that's what I do in a feature called Lootloves as well. You know, I love giving dabs to the young ones that are still on the rise, but they have their stories straight. And I love this new generation. They've got their image in lock. They know what they're doing on social media. Their music
Yes, they
is
do.
clean.
Yes,
They're
they do.
just so well put together. And so I
Definitely.
can't help but want to support that kind of excellence.